Hello. Hi. So we thought we'd do a little video interview because we thought it was an easy way to discuss our rehearsal process and all the discoveries we've made rather than just having to describe what happened and then say why that happened. We thought it would be easy just to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Since all the discoveries we made tend to happen between us just having a conversation. So we've got some questions to begin with. So I'll ask you the first one.
Okay.
How did you begin in the rehearsal space?
Okay, so this week we've been just going in and we literally walk into an empty space and have had nothing putting them together. So we've got things on paper, but then it's been a matter of kind of getting up on its feet. We knew we wanted it quite lecture in style. So we've always had this image of us being like next to each other, kind of straight out to the audience. So then we've used this text to kind of get that moving and make it something that's live and not just...
Yeah, I think we were trying to get it so it was fluid between the different topics because we had so many different facts about it and so many different aspects of the topic. So we started with like scattered facts, like with bits of paper with different facts on, and just saying them randomly after each other and seeing which ones fit together, which ones we could group into almost like subsections of the performance and seeing how that worked.
As we've said, we were quite interested in doing the kind of live documentary style, so we wanted to look at doing different, like having different tones within the piece. So we kind of looked at starting it with the lecture style, which is the facts, and then transitioning in as though it's like a different time frame into something that's maybe a bit more comic, like a series or something, a little sketch.
We were always quite clear that we wanted the like personal and the factual statistical information to be interwoven together, so it wasn't so like episodic as such. Like it was like a lecture that things flew between each topic and influenced one another. So I think it was a case of getting the facts and putting them onto their feet and making them something that we could work with in a performance way and not just be reciting a load of text in a way. What's the next question? What devising techniques have we used?
I mean, we kind of had these things that we found that were the most common male and female lies that people were telling like every day, and then we set ourselves a task of doing a movement either alone, or we tried it alone and together, so it had to be intertwined. We did one where we had to hold hands constantly, so all the movements were with us joining hands at some point, but assigning a movement to each one, so then it became a little sketch. So we had some that were the same, but we had to make sure that it was obvious which gender it was, but we wanted it to be very snappy, so it was something that we really choreographed and rehearsed over and over again. But we've actually been practicing in the Littman Theatre, and it's quite big, so we've had to kind of try and think about what we're going to do to ensure that we're not drowned by the space, whether that means doing bigger movements or just making it a more focused piece in that actual space.
I think a lot of what we've done has been setting rules and parameters for like improvisation or physical work by saying like these are the rules, that's what we've got to stick to, and then you're free to move around within those boundaries, because otherwise I think sometimes we risk getting a bit lost with so much information, so many facts, so many different aspects of the topic. We don't want it to be too vague and not detailed enough and just a bit not personal. So we've had rules like we always have to be in contact, we had to keep holding hands, or the movement had to move continuously from one to the other, we couldn't stop in between. One of the rules we worked on with the text is that we had to constantly talk one after each other, so it had to be like sentence, we tried word. So it was just a case of like making sure that we had boundaries to stick to and a goal at the end. So by this we want to experiment what are the limitations with this text, what are the possibilities with this text, and just seeing what we find out through improvisation.
Yeah, well, because we've never been interested in really telling a story. Mm-hmm. So we don't want it to become, oh, now Christina's speaking, now Becky's speaking. So that's why we kind of looked at having different lines to make it snappy, because with there only being two of us, I think we originally pictured that being like 20-something minutes, but I think we're starting to realise that was probably a bit ambitious for it to be a continuous kind of engaging piece in the style that we want, because it's not something that takes ages to tell a story of two people.
We wanted it to come straight in and be straight into the facts and straight into the information, and also our personal experiences, and for all to be together. And then you go through this quick pace 10 minutes, and then at the end you're left like with these questions, like questioning, well, was that true? Was that not true? I think that's what we wanted. We didn't want it to be too long and to lose what we were trying to engage them with.
Yeah.
Is that everything for that? I think one of the most important things we found was taking the facts, and obviously some of these facts are from our personal experiences, and we had things that were damaging to Christina's reputation at some points, and some of them are just facts that we've got off like research and different studies, and making them personal to us, so making it convincing that when we say these facts that we found them out, or they are about us. Like, being convincing is such an important part of what we're trying to do.
Also, I think we've not really said about we've started developing like a presentation, because I think we want to have a presentation behind, and we've actually started looking at things that are real. So I've had to email one of our tutors to ask if I could use it, but we've looked back embarrassingly on emails from first year and maybe a few from second year, but I wouldn't want to admit that, of times when I've not actually been in uni and said that I was ill for some reason, and then actually found this picture, not always been actual real, but one that we could use to kind of suggest that does this look like someone who's actually ill, and I think that's something that people will be able to relate to.
Yeah, we think about
of our age.
With our target audience of Launch Festival in particular, I think it might be something that's quite relevant. Like, everyone has done it, even though they might not admit to it. And it's something that, it's quite interesting with lying. Like, you tell this lie and you think, oh, it's only a little lie, it's not going to affect anyone else. But if you're telling these lies 3-4 times, is that just as bad? Which is, I think, what we're questioning with that.
And I also think the good thing about me putting myself on the line is it invites them to do the same with themselves. So seeing me do that, and it has been hard, but seeing me do that is it's a bit of comfort in thinking, oh yeah, I've done that as well, but like, it's okay for her to say that she's done that. So I think it makes it a bit more accessible, because I'm actually admitting to it and actually showing them real evidence of it. So maybe if we could potentially show back to people before we're going to perform, then we might get more material, we might get more things we can use, because I know we want to kind of get a bit more actual material from other people.
I think now it's this case of, we've got a section about these facts from the men and women and the common lies they tell and this sequence of movement. Then we've got the PowerPoint and the lies that Christina's told, and it's about now like being able to link them together and make sure that the one influences the other, and you can see why we place them next to each other within the performance, which is what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm a stickler for transition, so I just kind of need to start picturing it and maybe do like a storyboard or something, so I can see how it's going to get from A to B and be different, not just be stood there trying to say things to them.
Yeah. So that's it for now, I think. Yeah, that's all the questions.
Bye. Bye.